Hello, welcome to part 2 of the supporting characters and hidden bits and pieces video about my Everyday Enchantment Tarot original artwork, and I am now going to be focusing on the King of Blades background. Now you can see these people quite well, but I still wanted to sort of go a bit closer so you could see their expressions and how different they are, how differently they're all reacting or responding to what the King of Blades is saying in his presentation to the court. This chap is obviously taking things very seriously. He has a very reflective, almost sort of, well, he doesn't look very happy or impressed with what's being said. He looks quite sad, actually. Very reflective look on his face, and a young girl who I think of as a sort of a student down here, and very sort of fresh-faced, and she's also giving her full attention, quite intense gaze upon him. And then the older gentleman in the background, who also looks sort of, I'm not sure whether he is paying full attention. He has a kind of slightly distracted look in his eyes to me, but he doesn't look very, maybe he's kind of switched off a little bit because he doesn't like what he's hearing, I'm not sure. Or maybe you think he is paying full attention. It's all open to your interpretation. I'm just looking at him now thinking maybe he's got half a mind on his dinner or something. I'm not sure. He just looks a little bit vague, but also quite serious. So maybe he's giving it more attention than I'm giving him credit for. There's a lady, you can only see half of her here, and she doesn't look happy at all. Even though you can't see her mouth, to me she looks like she's being quite affected by what's being talked about. Whereas this man up here looks like he's not taking it serious in the slightest. He looks like he's about to, it's almost like he's going to laugh or sneer or something. He doesn't look like he's taking it seriously at all. Hopefully he is, because this is very important. Exhibit 3.1.7a, whatever it is. This knife, yes, so he should be, but you know, this is a jury of 12 completely individual people, and they're not all going to be looking at it in the same way. But he looks slightly, not sure. Anyway, whereas this lady here looks slightly disgusted, or she's not. She's absolutely focused, but yeah, she's not sure. She's not keen on what she's hearing, I don't think. If you look at these people, you can see how many different colours are used. Hopefully. Oops. They're made up of many different colours. That's what's used to give the definition in these artworks. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to focus on, here we have the four of cups. Get it right, me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of cups. Yes, he's full of ennui and most bleh. Doesn't notice, and perhaps nobody has noticed, this tiny tree creeper on the bark in the background. Beautiful little bird, climbing up as they do. This is about as near as I can get, but it's very small on the card and quite blended into the bark, so that might be your first proper glimpse of the bird. And of course we have the heron flying over the water, which you probably would have seen. That's really all I wanted to look at. The point of the being such a rich background here was because he's just oblivious. He's got his headphones on and he's oblivious to it all, but that's why it's like this. There is also a squirrel over here, but you can probably see the squirrel clearer than you can the tree creeper, so I decided to focus on a little bird. There we go. Right, I'm just going to focus on the actual tower part of the tower. Now, in the final version, this got flipped over the other way, but that's not really why I'm looking at this. I'm looking at it because of these people who are very, very small. If we go out here, come back in, the people that are looking out of the windows, hoping for rescue, calling for help, they're really small, but they've all got individual expressions, even if you can't see them very clearly. Man down here is much more He's really disturbed and desperate, this man here. There's this lady here is calling for help, but has a different look. We have a very small man over here. No, it's not going to focus on him because he's just too small, apparently. And we have a lady right up here who also they don't want to focus on because she's too small. Which is very frustrating because that's the point, that we get really close, but it just won't let me do it. So that's as close as we can get. So have you noticed these figures before? I don't know. Have you noticed him calling? This card was really disturbing actually, because of course I did this before the Grenfell Tower awful calamity occurred in London, and yeah, it's a bit disturbing now looking at these figures calling for help out of the windows. Thinking that happened is almost a bit prophetic in a way, but yeah, it's always going to be a little bit of a difficult card now. I mean, it is a difficult card anyway, but I wasn't to know that was going to happen, and I did not base it on that. I did this long before. This was one of the very first cards that came into my head, and I've been working on them for 10 years. So yeah, it was already kind of established as a card when that awful disaster happened. So no, I did not base this on real people suffering. I feel like I should move on from this now because it's, you know, it's quite awful, isn't it? But, you know, it is what it is. That's how it is. And I just wanted to show you those people close up. And in a way, that kind of gives a kind of an honour to the people, the real people who were in those positions, who were focusing in on them and not forgetting them. Right, a bit more light-hearted. We have, oh, good grief. I'm really rubbish at remembering the numbers of my cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh God. I'm going to have to end up making this video again because I'm going to be so embarrassed that I don't even know how many blooming of wands this is. Oh, please forgive me. Right, I'm just going to look at this starling and feel hugely embarrassed for a minute. I can't say I'm getting old again because yes, my memory isn't very good, but that's really embarrassing that I don't even know what number this card is, but I'm doing an honest video. I'm probably not going to make it again. I'm just going to leave that there so you can see what an idiot I am. There you go. Right, there is the starling on the branch that you probably couldn't see because it's very small above the postman's head. So let's have a look at the starling and the details of the starling. And also a tiny ladybird, which is called a ladybug in America. And I'm still cringing with embarrassment that I don't know what number my card is. Right, yeah, I'm just going to move on because I just feel so mortified by that. Yes, keeping it real. Let's be authentic and make ourselves look stupid. Okay. Right, we're now on the, it's nice and simple this one, we are now on the Ace of Wands, wand number 1. Yes, and I thought we'd focus in on the castle and the horse in the background. You can see that I put a lot into even the smallest details because that castle is remarkably small. Full of different colours where the light's hitting it from this beautiful sky, which I was very pleased with. And we have a lark in the sky too. There's been quite a few larks I've noticed in my cards, which I didn't really register before, but it's almost like, I don't know whether you watch my Wild Spirit videos, when they complained, Llewellyn complained, the publisher complained to me about using the same type of man for too many of my illustrations, a man with dark hair and a beard, and I think I've used too many larks in these cards. But can you ever have too many larks? I don't know. They're wonderful, they're magical, and I think that's why they kept cropping up, because they are so magical. But the one in here is symbolic because it's like up with the lark. She's out at sunrise to do our painting. New beginning, sunrise, lark. There is that saying, up with the lark, and the lark is rising with the light. So there was a reason why the lark was there. So I do like that little vignette in the corner. Energy and light and life. There you go. You're never going to see that horse so close up again. So it kind of makes up for my stupidity, which I'm just still, oh, get over it, just let it go. You didn't know the name of your card. That doesn't make you stupid, does it? Really? Anyway, I know the name of this card. It's called Three of Coins. That's handy, isn't it? It's the Three of Coins, yes. And here we have some lovely supporting characters, because this is all about a family working together on a dream, a project. We have the grandfather on the lock gate. Go and see his face. The look of happiness and pride at his son bringing the boat through. We have the man's wife or partner here working the lock, and we have his son, who's looking very happy and pleased with himself too, don't you think? These little details that were important to me because they had to be consistent with the story. The cards are all the story, and they have to, even down to the smallest expression on a face, they have to show something. It's just a shame that when they get reduced down you could have missed that, really, but that's why I'm showing you them here, trying to redeem myself from my stupidity. I think I need to let that go now, because I'm going to bore myself, let alone you. Right, moving on. Here we have the Three of Blades. Do we have the Three of Blades? Yes, we do. It really is. And I wanted to just focus on what's outside the window here, which I was very pleased with when I did it. It's the cat is watching the magpie. The magpie, one for sorrow. Outside the window in the rain. And there's some lovely colours going on. In the distance, you can see the light building again, so things are going to change, things will get better, but at the moment there's still a storm. This woman here, still in the storm, and the magpie is symbolic. I mean, I don't think magpies are at all related to sorrow or joy or anything else, but it's something that people say, and so it has a kind of symbolism to some people. I would not ascribe those qualities to my creature kin, but there we go. That's why there is one magpie there, because people spit and salute and try and ward off the magpie's bad luck. And I've tried to really look into why that is, and why people are so superstitious about them. And there seems to be a lot about the black and white colouring of good and evil. I haven't really come to the root of it. I have tried. Maybe there isn't that much logic to it to find out, but it must have come from somewhere, mustn't it? Or maybe it's just because they have some pretty bad habits, magpies, like all corvids. I can remember seeing a crow swoop down and take a little yellow chick out of a pond, and you know, I love corvids, but they can be very, very naughty in their habits and not very tasteful to us, even though they need to eat. Anyway, so that's why the magpie is there. Just a very quick glimpse here. This is, oh God, she's done it again. This is the something. This is the something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, is it? Is this the 10 of Blades? I thought it was the 9. Oh God, what a blooming idiot. Okay, the Nth of Blades, let's just look at it like that, shall we? I'm sure you're more familiar with these than I am. That is so stupid. I really feel like I should make this video again just to prove that I'm not completely thick, but will you forgive me? I don't know. Anyway, I came here to look at the owl. Now, I was a bit wary about using this. I don't like using creatures. I was a bit wary about working with this owl in this image, because it is clearly an urban image, even though I can't recognise what number of blades it is. But yes, it's an urban image, and this is a barn owl, so the likelihood of the barn owl being out in this particular environment is quite slim. It is not a creature that would haunt this kind of area, but for artistic purposes it suited the feel of like a ghost coming over the horizon sort of thing. Yes, but I did realise that the barn owl would not likely be there unless it got horribly lost or released from somebody, or I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I know there's a bat here, which is what I wanted to show you, which can get lost in the mix because it is a very small bat and kind of blends in. It's a little pipistrelle bat flying around the boy's head, quite innocently, out hunting for his evening snacks. But because the boy is having some sort of mad panic, paranoia, or a genuine fear, we don't know exactly which, he will feel that the bat is out to attack him, even though it's a tiny bat. Tiny bat. So I just thought I'd show you those little background details that can get lost. Yeah, still feeling stupid. Moving on. Okay, here we have the 4 of coins. There he is, there's his coins. In the background we have again a contrasting scenario where we have the young people. Let's say the girl and her brother running with the dog along the beach, having a lovely time as the clouds scud by and there's lots of energy and it's all bright and cheery and they're having fun racing along. Can we get any closer to see their expressions? She looks happy. Yes, so they're in contrast with Mr. Serious, I'm the king of the castle boy. So, and there's the squawking seagull who is proclaiming his territory also. That's why they're there. That's sensing the freedom in the background of the gulls and the children running and the water rushing in and the clouds moving. Everything's moving except for him who's stuck because he's decided to guard. He's become fearful and locked into his realm, but we know that, so we will move on. Right, Page of Blades. I decided to focus on his dad, who I really liked. They look like a kind of Scandinavian family to me. I'm not sure. That's how I felt when I was depicting them. But the dad has an intense expression on his face, looking at his son. He doesn't want to interrupt or be too in his face because he's letting his son expound and be himself and express. But he can see that he has a great admiration and also sort of astonishment. It's like, my boy is quite brilliant. Or maybe he just doesn't want to interrupt him. But I really like his face. It also has a kind of loving element to it. It's a very gentle face. So I thought I'd focus on him and also on the tiny blue tit that is going past with a little grubby. So they're a grub or a piece of leaf. I'm not entirely sure. I have to remember that it's been quite a while since I had this deck published, and it's also been quite a while since I started doing a lot of this artwork, so that is not an excuse for why I would forget the name of the cards. That is just ridiculous, but sometimes I can't remember exactly why I chose to put certain little details in. But does it matter? You can decide for yourself what it is, can't you? It's not prescriptive. I'm just giving you my view, giving you an enhanced view of things you might have missed, and it's up to you to work out what's going on. Why am I looking at this one? Because outside the window I worked extremely hard on... oh, I'm not going to be able to see it clearly. There's an awful lot of detailing outside of her window. It's really, really quite intense. My eyesight was better when I was doing these cards, and my hands were steadier too. So yeah, that was a real labour intensive thing. Why did I do that? Well, because I wanted to show that she really is kind of trapped. She's trapped in her home, and she's also kind of surrounded by more of the same, more buildings. So yeah, it's very I just wanted to show that she was stuck in a kind of urban sprawl. There are trees, there are sort of glimpses of greenery and nature, but generally she feels very hemmed in by her situation and her environment, both in and out. And that's why I spent so long doing it. And it also gives a real sense of place, and it wouldn't have been the same without it. And there's 2 more to go. Oh no, I better shut up. All right, I'll come back. And perhaps you'll forgive me next time for my rubbish remembering. Bye!